Best variety of the 80s, 90s, and today.
On 97.1 Wash FM.
Tonight, several developing stories as we come on the air. The driver pulled over and then shot multiple times as he drives away. Body cam video showing the officers beforehand telling the driver to get out of the car. The driver repeatedly asking why. When he backs out, he is shot and hit that driver right here tonight. The dangerous storm front, at least 5 confirmed tornadoes, flood watches across several states right now. That front then moving through D.C., New York City, Boston next. The president and his farewell, Hope Hicks now gone, 24 hours after firing his VA secretary. And tonight, the president comes out swinging after his fired secretary fights back. Why he thinks he was replaced. President Trump and his surprise on Syria today, what it could mean for U.S. troops. Minutes later, after what he said, the State Department appearing stumped. The deadly plunge, 5 family members killed after their car goes over a cliff. 3 children are still missing. The shooting in broad daylight at a car dealership, customers running for cover. And a cancer warning, where Starbucks and other coffee shops will soon have to put that warning on their coffee.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a Thursday night. And we begin with the controversial video tonight. A driver pulled over by police. They ask him to get out of the car. He repeatedly asks why. When he pulls away, he is shot several times. That shooting in South Carolina on police body cam, but it wasn't the officers who fired. It was a volunteer constable who fired the shots. The mayor tonight calling the incident so, quote, troubling that he released the video right away. The driver who was shot did survive, and tonight he's talking. Here's ABC's Steve Osunsami leading us off.
Man, you in a rush?
No, speed limit was 45.
I got you. You're going a little left to center over there on coming on a Sunset.
My tire messed up.
South Carolina prosecutors are poring over these police videos tonight and deciding if someone needs to be charged.
Is there any kind of drugs in the car, sir?
No, sir, please.
Okay, all right. I can smell a little bit of weed coming from the car.
2 of the men with guns seen in this routine traffic stop in Florence, South Carolina are real police who never fire a single shot. But keep your eyes on this man, a state constable who's essentially a volunteer riding along.
Sir, I'm not stepping out of my car for what?
You are stepping out of the car, please, sir.
What am I stepping out of my car for?
28-year-old Brandon Flood is refusing to get out of the white Cadillac. Constable Christopher Bachochin, whose day job is a pharmacist and is identified here on a trade group website, is seen here circling the car with his hand on his gun.
Sir, I need you to step out of the car. Mr. Flood, I need you to step out of the car. Stop, 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 stop!
Flood puts his foot on the gas. Bachochin fires 8 shots. 3 of them hit Flood.
Listen. Next time, if someone's tell you to get out the car, they tell you directive, listen to them, because it could have ended worse.
When we talked to Flood today, he still had a bullet in his chest.
I didn't deserve to be shot 3 times, and now I have to live with it for the rest of my life.
He and his lawyer admit he shouldn't have run, but say a pharmacist shouldn't be pretending to be a cop.
This guy overreacted. He wasn't properly trained, wasn't properly supervised.
Steve Osunsami with us tonight. And Steve, authorities, as you pointed out, were very quick to release this video.
That's right, David. They wanted to make sure that people knew that their officers acted correctly, that they're trained not to shoot at moving vehicles because bullets could hit bystanders. These volunteer police programs are under the microscope tonight. David.
Steve Osunsami leading us off. Steve, thank you. We're going to turn next year to multiple tornadoes already. Flood watches tonight in that front, then moving toward D.C., New York, and Boston through the day tomorrow. Already spawning several twisters, including this EF1 in Mangum, Louisiana, 105 miles an hour right there. Straight line winds splintering homes in San Jacinto County, Texas, and daily rain records broken in Austin, College Station, and San Antonio. Flooding shutting down lanes during the commute in Houston. Let's get right to Rob Marciano. He's live with us along the West Side Highway here in New York tonight. Hey, Rob.
Hi, David. Tremendous rain this morning across the Gulf Coast, up to a half a foot in some spots. Now that system has stretched out all the way from Ontario, Canada, down to the Gulf of Mexico. You see it on the radar scope. Still raining in Chicago and Detroit, where their opening day baseball games got postponed. St. Louis seeing some heavy rain, and a line that's strong about to head into Atlanta. Could get rough overnight tonight. Then the front kind of weakens as it heads towards the East Coast, but D.C., New York, Boston, are you going to see some light rain and cooler weather tomorrow? D.C. into the mid-70s today, and they're watching another Clipper system, which will bring 3 to 6 inches of snow across the northern tier, but more importantly, it'll drape more in the way of cold air coming in for the holiday for the Northeast. Chicago could easily see its coldest Easter in decades, David.
Rob Marciano with us. All right, Rob, thanks so much. Next tonight to the president coming out swinging after firing his VA secretary. That cabinet member, David Shulkin, firing back today, hinting at why he thinks he was fired. At the White House, meanwhile, another departure. President Trump bidding farewell to Hope Hicks, who resigned some time back. But tonight, it's the VA secretary and his new pick for the president, his doctor, to lead the VA, leading to new questions. ABC's Mary Bruce at the White House tonight.
With a handshake and a kiss on the cheek, President Trump today bid farewell to the aide who's been with him the longest, Hope Hicks. Part of a revolving door of high-profile White House departures, a starkly different send-off from just 24 hours ago. VA Secretary David Shulkin kicked out of the cabinet with a tweet.
We've made a lot of progress with the veterans, but I want to get them choice. And they didn't give us choice. I have made some changes because I wasn't happy with the speed with which our veterans were taken care of. I wasn't happy with it.
But tonight, Shulkin isn't going quietly. Writing in an op-ed, the environment in Washington has turned so toxic, chaotic, disrespectful. Adding this parting shot, it should not be this hard to serve your country. Shulkin says he was pushed out by forces in the department that want to privatize the VA. He had been on thin ice for weeks, accused of wasting taxpayer money on a $122,000 work trip to Europe, where he and his wife spent several days sightseeing. The president's pick to replace him, his own doctor, Admiral Ronnie Jackson, who recently offered this glowing praise after the president's physical.
He might live to be 200 years old. I don't know. I mean, he has incredible genes.
But it's the president's doctor who would now be in charge of the government's second largest agency, overseeing care for more than 9 million veterans. With little management experience on this scale, veterans groups are skeptical. In just 2 weeks, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson fired, National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster out, and now the VA secretary. The president's controversial new pick for National Security Advisor John Bolton was at the Pentagon today. Defense Secretary James Mattis welcoming him with a blunt joke.
I've heard that you're absolutely devil incarnate. I wanted to meet you.
All right, Mary Bruce with us live at the White House tonight. And Mary, Dr. Jackson now faces a tough confirmation hearing over on the Hill.
Yeah, and David, lawmakers have already been questioning Jackson's lack of experience with the VA. He's likely to be grilled about whether he can run this massive federal agency. The VA has a budget of nearly $200 billion. Now, to assume this role, Jackson will need the support of the majority of the Senate. David.
You'll be watching over on the Hill for us. Mary, thank you. President Trump, meanwhile, was in Ohio today talking about his infrastructure plans to a group of union builders. But he made one comment that got a lot of attention immediately, a comment about Syria and pulling out U.S. troops very soon. Just minutes later, the State Department back in Washington was asked about it. Even they seem caught by surprise. Take a look.
We'll be coming out of Syria like very soon. Let the other people take care of it now. Very soon. Very soon, we're coming out.
The president just said a few minutes ago that the U.S. is coming out of Syria very soon, and let other people take care of it. We're coming out.
I can only say that as a general matter, and I have not seen the president's comments myself. I don't know the context in which his comments were said, but I can say that as a general matter, this administration looks to other countries to help out.
It was clear the State Department didn't see this coming. Let's bring in our chief global affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz, tonight. So, Martha, is there a change in Syria policy? And when he says let other people take care of it, who's he talking about? Russia?
We're not really sure what he's talking about, David. This caught the Pentagon and the State Department completely by surprise. No one there is saying anything publicly about pulling those 2,000 U.S. troops out, and there's still a significant ISIS presence there. But what is even more surprising is that Donald Trump is the man who said he would never telegraph to the enemy what he's doing last August, saying America's enemies must never know our plans or believe they can wait us out. But he seemed to forget those words today. In fact, CENTCOM just issued a statement saying CENTCOM's strategy in Syria is the defeat of ISIS. It is our intention to continue to focus on the aspects of ISIS that still need to be addressed. So it doesn't sound like any new strategy, David.
All right, but we'll stay tuned, as always. Thank you, Martha. Meantime, tonight, Russia is striking back after the U.S. expelled dozens of Russian diplomats and closed a consulate following that poisoning in the U.K. with a nerve agent. The Kremlin expelling 60 American diplomats now, giving them 1 week to leave, and shutting down the American consulate in St. Petersburg in just 48 hours. More than 20 countries expelled Russia's diplomats over the poisoning of that former Russian spy and his daughter, and tonight Russia is vowing to expel diplomats from all of those countries as well. And we should point out that that daughter is said to be improving tonight. Here at home, into that mysterious accident along California's scenic Highway 1, a family of 8, including 6 children in an SUV, that went off the road, plunging onto the rocks, the beach right there below. Their children believed to have been inside. Some are still missing. Tonight, a portrait of that family now emerging, leading to new questions. And here's ABC's Matt Gutman.
When investigators arrived at this windswept California overlook, they were stumped.
It was a very confusing scene because there were no skid marks.
Sarah and Jennifer Hart had apparently driven their SUV with their 6 adopted children inside off this 100-foot cliff. The mangled truck and the bodies of the parents and 3 of the children were found.
We do know several things. We know that an entire family vanished.
But 3 of the children are missing tonight, possibly swept out to sea, including 14-year-old Devontae. You might remember him from this viral photo hugging a police officer in Portland during the turmoil of the Ferguson, Missouri riots in 2014. Friends describing them as a loving family. But tonight, as investigators piece together what happened to this 8-member Washington state family, we're learning that neighbors called Child Protective Services after one of the children told them he was hungry.
Was asking that we not tell his mom and to, hide it and put it by the fence so he could get to it, and that they were withholding food from him as punishment.
And tonight, police are executing a search warrant inside the home as they try to unravel the mystery of what led the Hart family off the edge.
David, we've learned that one of the parents was convicted of a misdemeanor domestic assault back in 2010. Now, investigators tell us at this point they have no reason to believe that this crash was intentional. David.
All right, Matt Gutman with us tonight. Matt, thank you. A federal judge has denied Stormy Daniels' request to depose President Trump and his lawyer, Michael Cohen, saying the request is premature. Daniels' lawsuit claims the agreement she signed to keep her from talking about her alleged affair with the president is invalid. She is now also suing Cohen for defamation for insinuating that she's lying. The judge also canceled a hearing that was set for April 30th. And the Attorney General Jeff Sessions tonight will not appoint a second special counsel to probe the Russia investigation, at least for now. The Attorney General responding to concerns from Republicans about bias in the Justice Department, Robert Mueller's investigation, and the Clinton Foundation. Sessions telling members of Congress in a letter that a senior federal prosecutor will instead continue to evaluate whether such an appointment is necessary. There is still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Thursday. The shooting rampage at a car dealership. You'll see the surveillance. The female gunman opening fire in broad daylight. Sales staff, customers there running for cover in the lot. Also tonight, the medical headline, a cancer warning, where Starbucks and other coffee shops will soon have to put that warning on their coffee. And President Trump on the attack, and it involves Amazon tonight. So many of you ordering packages from Amazon and in many cases not paying taxes. Will this fight now lead to you paying taxes on some of those items? Rebecca Jarvis standing by. A lot more news ahead.
Today, we're out here with some surprising facts about type 2 diabetes.
So you have type 2 diabetes, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Okay, so you diet, you exercise, manage your A1C.
That's the plan.
What about your heart?
What do you mean, my heart?
The truth is, type 2 diabetes can make you twice as likely to die from a cardiovascular event like a heart attack or stroke.
And with heart disease, your risk is even higher. But wait, there's good news for adults who have type 2 diabetes and heart disease.
Jardiance is the only type 2 diabetes pill with a life-saving cardiovascular benefit. Jardiance is proven to both significantly reduce the chance of dying from a cardiovascular event in adults who have type 2 diabetes and heart disease and lower your A1C.
Jardiance can cause serious side effects, including dehydration. This may cause you to feel dizzy, faint, or lightheaded, or weak upon standing. Ketoacidosis is a serious side effect that may be fatal. Symptoms include nausea, vomiting, stomach pain, tiredness, and trouble breathing. Stop taking Jardiance and call your doctor right away if you have symptoms of ketoacidosis or an allergic reaction. Symptoms of an allergic reaction include rash, swelling, and difficulty breathing or swallowing. Do not take Jardiance if you are on dialysis or have severe kidney problems. Other side effects